The New York Giants season is officially over. It seems like Daniel Jones does have a torn ACL, and with Tyrod Taylor dealing with some broken ribs right now, this entire team is in shambles. The offense did look better for a few weeks with Tyrod Taylor. Daniel Jones' first game back against the Las Vegas Raiders was not pretty at all. As soon as he checks into the game, as soon as the game starts, sacked over and over again. This offensive line is one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. I think it's time to just call it on Evan Neal. Either you put him at right guard or just to get him off this team. He's terrible. Evan Neal is horrible. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. If he was a security club bouncer in the front, everybody would get in. He can't guard anybody. And he tried to get mad with New York Giant fans, and they said that he needed to play better. I've taken up for Evan Neal in the past. Last season, he had a lot of bad moments, but he had some good moments as well. What I'm looking at right now with Evan Neal is a whole lot of bad. Evan Neal hasn't had one good game this season. And this Giants team, their entire season just started off ugly this season. When they went against the Dallas Cowboys, they couldn't get things going. Now, this team is headed for a top draft pick in this upcoming draft class, but I don't see them drafting a quarterback because you went out there and you paid Daniel Jones a lot of money. He's one of the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL. And Saquon Barkley's on that franchise tag. And right now it makes zero sense to go out there and pay Saquon Barkley a lot of money because your team is not going to be able to go out there and make a deep playoff run or even get close to the NFL playoffs. And I thought that they would be. So I look like an idiot for saying that. But I really thought that Daniel Jones was going to take a turn for the better. He's regressed fully this season, and it's not all on Daniel Jones. The wide receivers can't separate. Saquon Barkley missed a lot of games this season. That's part of another reason why the Giants didn't want to pay him, because he missed a lot of games this season dealing with a knee injury. And also Daniel Jones, he missed some games as well dealing with a neck injury. And the reason why he missed some games this season dealing with a neck injury, because this horrible offensive line. Daniel Jones got sacked 10 times against the Seattle Seahawks, and you can't say, well, man, it was situational awareness. His pocket awareness is bad. He has decent mobility. Really, he's a very good athlete. He has over decent mobility. He's a very good runner in open field, but they can't get things going. The NFL caught up to the Brian Dable system, and I'm not putting it on Brian Dable. The general manager failed this team with the talent that they put out there on the field for Brian Dable, because you traded a third-round pick for Darren Waller, and he's had some okay moments with this Giants team. He had better moments with Tyrod Taylor than he did with Daniel Jones. But the problem is he's going to miss the next couple of weeks as well. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, and usually from experience, when you deal with soft tissue injuries in the NFL or any contact sport, they don't get better over time as you age. If anything, they get worse. So a regular hamstring injury to Darren Waller is not a regular hamstring injury to every other athlete that's never had it before. He's had these type of injuries before, so he's going to miss a good portion of the season or the next couple of weeks dealing with that injury. And I'm not saying that Darren Waller plays in fact of those guys that can't get open, because he can get open. But you look at the rest of these wide receivers, they haven't taken the next step. Sterling Shepard is not the same wide receiver he was a couple seasons ago. The injuries have definitely taken him back. Darius Slayton is a good wide receiver, but he's a number 2 at best. Right now, he's a number 3 wide receiver in my opinion, but he's a solid number 2. I'm looking at Wan'Dale Robinson, a guy that you spent a high round pick on in last year's draft class. Hasn't taken that next step just yet, and he missed all of last season dealing with a torn ACL. Well, he played a couple games, and then he tore his ACL, so he missed a good portion of the season. So what I'm looking at right now with this Giants team, they have a lot of things to work on, but they're talented deprived right now. Their defense is solid. Kayvon Thibodeau has played better in the last few weeks with this team for sure. Their secondary, Adoree Jackson, is very good. I like the future of Deonte Banks with this team. He's very solid as well. I'm just worried about the offensive line, because we've been talking about this offensive line for years, even back to when they had Eli Manning. They couldn't get things going. Now, Andrew Thomas is a true franchise tackle at the left tackle position, but he missed a lot of games this season. So a lot of their misfortunes have come down to injuries. But I know that the New York Giants ownership and especially the fans are disappointed. Daniel Jones did not have the best showing this season because the injuries around him. And just to be completely honest, he regressed. Saquon Barkley was injured for a lot of games this season. They just couldn't get things going. So I do think moving forward, they have a lot of things to try to figure out. That's why they traded Leonard Williams. And they still have Dexter Lawrence. It made no sense to keep Leonard Williams on this team while you can barely win these games right now. I like Bobby Okereke at the middle linebacker position, but they have a lot of holes that they need to plug in moving forward. And so far for the rest of the season, if they don't have Daniel Jones as an option, it's going to be very ugly. I'm looking at Tommy DeVito. just not ready. He's just not ready. Just not a good start in the NFL. He's just not. The man had negative passing yards a week ago. Just not a good quarterback for this team. And he came in there against the Las Vegas Raiders. He looked better, but it still wasn't good enough. Not for this team to go out there and win football games. So I think that you just call this a season and you just try to rebuild moving forward. Just see what you have in these young players, put them on the field. And please, whoever the quarterback is moving forward, make sure Evan Neal is not guarding for them, because they will get sacked a lot and they will get beat up a lot off his side. His footwork is terrible. And his blocking technique is even worse. We're talking about one of the worst tackles in the NFL this season. And you spent a first-round pick on him. Usually guys can turn it around. He ain't going to turn around the tackle position because his feet are too slow. He's going to have to go into the guard position. And I do believe that he can be a dominant guard. But as far as a tackle, when he has to deal with those speed rushers, it ain't going to work. You saw what Mad Max Crosby did to him, and you saw what Michael Parsons did to him. They're giving him insane work. But let me know in the comment section below, what should New York Giants do moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.